And we're going to slow everything down. We're going to slow the breath. We're going to slow awareness. We can just drop the thought into mind, just as an invitation, a suggestion to all of our little parts, to the whole inner world that we have, the inner orphanage, if you like, or the kindergarten of our mind. We're going to drop uh, an idea in that I'm going to say like it's story time. You know, when I was very young at school, we had a carpet, a rug, and it was the story rug, and we'd have quiet time. We'd sit on that, and somebody would read a story. And so we're just going to drop that in. It's a really relaxing, comforting thought for me. That it's story time. We're just going to sit, relax, breathe, and receive. Um, there's nothing else to do in this space. We're just breathing and receiving. And in that spaciousness, our own flow of energy and life comes to the forefront. Our own Christedness will emerge from the spaciousness and the stillness. So that's the invitation to breathe, relax, slow everything down. And before we start, really, we're going to stop. I'm just going to stop in this space. And then I'm going to move towards the channel. Holy Father, Mother, God, Goddess, the light and the form of all creation, one flowing breath of truth through all things that you are, that we are, that I am. I give this space, I give this breath and this body, give these emotions, I give these parts, I give these worlds to you. And I ask that you keep this channel in clarity and light and truth, perfectly open to my brother Yeshua and those that journey with him, to share in this space. I invite you in, my brother, and my sister Mary. I invite you in to be with us now. Amen. Now, mm, mhm. Now we begin once again, my beloved friends. It is, as it always is, a great joy for us to gather together in the field of space and time, from the field of that which is infinite and eternal, to create with you this medium of communication, this window between these minds, indeed these worlds of experience in which you inhabit at this time, and the realms of pure loving eternality in which we abide alongside the very essence of your own soul and beingness. For even as the focus of your awareness is so fully determined into the presence of a body, even as you choose in the level of your causation to experience the form of physicality as an immersion. So you do not, for you cannot relinquish your multi-dimensionality. You cannot cease to abide within the truth of every aspect of your Father's mind, for he knows you there just as he knows you here. And so it is worth sharing, my friends, that in reality, you can never be lost. Hmm? And as you can never be lost, therefore there is nothing to find, save once again the reality that you abide with us. And your residence with us is the primary reality of your beingness. It is as ever a great joy to create with you these doorways through which you can glimpse into the realm of your own truth and grant yourself the opportunity to choose once more to anchor the awareness of your soul in the felt energetic of what it is to be truly alive in all dimensions of creation. I do not come to you with falseness, my friends. I come to you with a simple truth. You are as I am, and I am as my Father has created me to be. And my Father has created me to be the very presence of love. And as you are, as I am, this is true of you too. And it could never not be true. Oh, it is true that you have spun webs of delusion within your mind. It is true that you have generated pockets of persona, pockets of personality. You have generated little selves. You have generated lost children in your mind that appear to themselves to be cut off from the wholeness of yourself. And it is true that you have immersed yourself through the dedication and commitment of a hyper-focused awareness into the heart of these beings in the attempt to know yourself as separate from the whole. And it is true that you have been masterful indeed in the creation of these schemas, of these lost selves, these spiraling thought forms and emotional forms, these worlds within. It is true, is it not, that you have at times experienced these places within your mind as if you were wholly separate, not only from creation itself, but from your brothers and your sisters, from the objects that surround you. You have conjured indeed a wonderful dream, a profound dream that you have indeed instilled with a sense of reality, as such that you have become convinced that it is a reality, that it is real, that it is the reality in a singular sense, that there are no other realities save that which you are experiencing when you are immersed in this field of projected thought and feeling. And as it has become so focused, your awareness in these fields of experience, you have enabled yourself to lose sight of that which is true. You have imagined that you have become lost. You have created the impossible as an experience for yourself. It is why it brings so much joy to me to have this opportunity to connect with you. Not necessarily the you that you imagine yourself to be, but the you that you are that has done the imagining. For it gives me the opportunity to reach out my hand unto you into the midst of your dream, into the heart of your delusion, to take the hand of that one that has imagined itself to be lost and to grasp it tightly in remembrance of that which you truly are, which is that which I am, the firstborn of the Father, his creation, the sunbeam unto the sun, the self, the soul, that which you are, the weaver of creation, the light of the Father's heart, the essence of all love. It brings me joy to reach into these spheres of illusion and to offer you the simplicity of remembering. And there are many, many ways in which you have trained your mind to deny this truth. There are many, many ways in which you have used the power of your own creativity to convince the parts of your mind that it is unsafe to be who you truly are. You have used the power of your own creativity to twist the truth into streams of denial that are blocked and dammed within, that contain the flow of life from moving truly through you. You have trained the mind to judge, for fear that if that judgment were not there, then you would be in great peril. For you could not resist or object or deny or keep separate yourself from the evil that you have judged into beingness within your own mind. And that is done projected onto the screen of the world as the great monsters of your nightmare that must be judged and fought in order to keep them at bay and prevent the destruction of that which yourself believes now itself to be. You have used judgment to label yourself indeed as that very darkness and evil within. And you have used the power of guilt to deny yourself the right to be love today. And you have breathed yourself in circles of fear, expecting attack that you have convinced yourself is justified because of the judgment that you have placed upon your own mind. And you have become that guilt, you have become it within. You have immersed yourself so deeply within these frameworks, these structures, these scaffolds of judgment that you have imagined that the very bones of creation are yours, and that that which has been judged is who you are, and therefore who you are is wrong. You have accomplished the very impossible feat of taking that which is wholly beautiful, that which is pure and true, that which you are, that which you can only ever be, that which you remain in the truth of yourself always, eternally, in all dimensions, forever. And through the power of your own internalized judgment, you have convinced yourself that you are wrong. And from that wrongness you recoil, for it is judged again. And layers upon layers are placed in place in which you remove yourself from yourself, in which you imagine that there is a deep toxicity to your very nature that must be recoiled from, or shaken off, or cut away, or denied so fully that it is projected into the world, and it is seen as the darkness of your nightmares. It is seen as the horror of the world. It is seen as the very devil itself. It is seen, but it is not owned. It is not realized. It is not given love. It brings me joy to bring you my love now, to meet the darkness within your own mind. For the only darkness that abides here is that which has been judged into suppression. And in the absence of judgment, light flows. In the absence of judgment, innocence is restored. In the absence of judgment, you are known once more unto yourself. In the absence of judgment, there is nothing that should be different. This is the great trick in mind. This is the heart of the great delusion. This is the heart of the dream of separation. That which is perceived as wrong within is wrong because it is perceived in this way. It carries no wrongness unto itself. You carry no wrongness unto yourself. It is simply the way in which it is perceived, and it is that perception that generates the experience of the world in polarity. This is the heart of the delusion. And if you pluck from the depth of your mind the judgment that you have conjured, which is nothing more than a thought, that is nothing more than a thought that has been placed like a thorn in the shoe within your mind to prick and hurt, to generate this sensation of separation, to generate this feeling, quality of being alone, to pluck this thought from mind. That you could ever be wrong. Liberates the whole self into the space that is beyond rightness and wrongness, into a space that simply is, into an abiding with the reality of love that does not concern itself with such things. It simply moves in allowance and accordance with the will of its self. It is there in the very core of the self-perception in mind that separation stems from. And it is there that the simple presence of light and forgiveness will breathe an entirely new reality into presence and experience. It is there within you, and it is only you that can bring that essence of forgiveness unto that false perception of judgment within your own mind. For you remain at choice. You remain empowered. to generate the experience you would most desire. I am inviting you to generate an experience of forgiveness for the core judgments that have operated through many, many forms in the stream of your soul for many, many incarnations, and to breathe and bring the presence and the focus of your love and your light to bear upon this tiny thorn, to bring healing once more to the essence of a mind that has imagined itself to be in polarity, in separation, in duality. For how can it be truly real? It cannot. For if you were truly in separation, you would cease to exist. For the very essence of your life and your energy and your soul comes from the one source and your communion with it, which is ever present and always. You are not separate now, nor have you ever for one moment been, for your existence remains as it has always done so. The question that remains in this space is simply this: do I wish to continue to judge myself at the core of my being with a judgment that is a lie, in order to generate an experience that is false and perpetuate an experience of a reality that is not real? Or would I rather bring the power of myself to bear within the core of this being and forgive this judgment into dissolution, that I might experience myself embodied as who I am and what I have been made to be, and to therefore transform the experience of this reality into something that is truly real, and allow that to be my gift unto the whole of creation. For it is your choice, and I am aware that this is a simple expression. And I am aware that there are moments in which the mind can feel far, far, far from simple. And yet I extend this as an invitation unto the depth of your being, unto the core of your mind and heart, unto the essence of your soul. The choice to stop, the choice to stop the habitual movement of self-judgment that informs a perception that is untrue, that keeps you small, that contains you in a false sense of safety from a threat that abides nowhere yet within your own imagination. A threat conjured by the very same judgment that you would use to separate yourself from the whole that you are. This is the maintenance of the dream. It is what you do on a daily, hourly, moment to moment basis by supporting the illusion in the depth of mind that your judgment is valid and that therefore you are not. There is no thing that you should be. There is nowhere that you ought to be. There is this moment in which you are, and every moment you are, and within every moment you have the choice to perceive the truth of yourself. Now we begin. Now again we begin, for you are pure, untainted, clean, and real. Now we begin. And every beginning is the opportunity to perceive yourself in a field that is free from judgment, that is free from the imposition of the rightness or the wrongness of mind, that is free to simply acknowledge the experience that has been, that is free to join in communion with your brothers and sisters as soul who have shared every experience with you, free to embrace in love those ones that you have hurt, free to be embraced in love by those ones that have hurt you, for in soul you have played the game of judgment, the game of separation, the game of illusion, the game of polarity and division. And it has originated, it has incepted into your mind through the core essence of your decision to judge yourself and to become that judgment, to allow that judgment to inform the very cells of the marrow in the bones, to become the scaffolding of your personality structures that you would hide within and in attempt to avoid the perception of God's wrath that you have projected. There is no punishment coming unto you, for you are truly innocent. And there will be aspects of mind that feel unsafe to relinquish their field of judgment, for it is the very cornerstone of their identity. It is the very essence of that which they are. But it is not the truth of you, and it is not the truth of them. It is an adopted, illusory reality that is given credence and validity through the power of fear that itself is birthed from judgment. And they thrive on the avoidance of the guilt that again is given birth through judgment. When I walked upon this earth, I taught myself to see with innocence myself and my brothers and my sisters. And in that seeing, in that knowing of innocence, which is the very absence of all judgment, I knew the truth. I found again the truth of myself. I and my Father are one because of the journey I made to the core of myself in the essence of forgiveness. It is through the sinlessness, the guiltlessness, the fearlessness that the crucifixion became a joyful embodiment of light, of rapture. And the resurrection was simply the natural progression of one who knows innocence in every breath. So when I say that judgment is indeed the foundation of the dream of separation, I mean this very literally. It is the foundation. It is the footings. It is the first courses of stone. It is the cement. It is the scaffold and the walls of all personality structures that abide in the dream. It holds in place the illusion that is imagined as a reality. And it holds all things in polarity, in tension, in contraction, in attraction. It gives birth to lack and need. It fuels war, greed, fear, guilt, and shame. It is the poisoned lifeblood of all beings that abide in hatred and anger, self-loathing, and terror. Is it not time to trade these things for love? Is it not time to take the risk of laying aside the foundations of the dream? For the delusion of safety is not fulfilled and cannot be fulfilled whilst judgment abides in mind. This is the great irony, that it is clung to in the hope of safety, and yet safety can never be found whilst it is clung unto. For it is the root of all unsafety. It is the root of all threat. It is the root of all fear. And that root abides within you in the simple acceptance that the core judgment upon yourself is true when it is not. This is why I have said that it is good to forgive 70 times 7 and again 70 times 7. It is good to forgive, for it is good to release the self from judgment. It is good to release the world from judgment. And indeed, when you release the world from judgment, the world itself dissolves from view, and what remains is the light of heaven within all things and all beings. For the veil of the world is the projection of judgment. Why persist in that which brings such harm and misery unto your own mind, when it does not even feed those parts that are hungry for safety, when it cannot guarantee the survival of the body, when it cannot bring you closer to truth? These are the stories that must be undone. These are the beliefs deep within the parts of mind that hold on to judgment that must be rewritten. There must be a process of gentle forgiveness, which is the coercion of these deep aspects of mind, these bricks individual that have been laid within the foundations, to coerce these ones to release their grip upon that which does naught but separate and bind and contort and generate fear. For they will never know safety through these beliefs. They will never know love through their defense. And their insistence upon defense is only because of the deeper insistence upon judgment. The world is innocent. You are innocent. All beings are innocent when freed from the projection of judgment. And it is only through the perception of innocence that safety will be known. And it is contrary to many aspects of mind to perceive this way. And so what could be the work in mind of self as soul coming with love, but to show the truth and the way and the light, which is to relinquish the commitment to judge. It is the undoing of the world, for the doing of the world is judgment. And we speak of this at length, for it is of the greatest importance. For it is our desire that you become free as we are free. Free to love, free to allow the gifts of the Father's love to pour through, to heal the world of these false perceptions, to bring comfort, to bring light, to bring and restore reality to this plane of creation that has given of itself for the illusion to play out. And yet there is a quickening occurring within the field of the planet. There is a quickening happening within the field of humanity. This appears at times as an urgency within the field of the mind. Let us say this, the only urgency there is for forgiveness. And it is only through forgiveness in the depth of your own mind that the world will transform from its current perception into the innocence of heaven. And there is yet still much work to do. There is yet still much forgiveness to be generated. There is yet still much light to be offered into the world. And it starts with the simple decision to release your own mind from the false premise that sits at the root of every energy center, to forgive the false perception of judgment that you have instilled into the foundations of your physical, energetic, emotional, and mental beingness. To free yourself is to free the world from its requirement to reflect the projections of denial that humanity is so committed unto. The question is simple, my friend. What is it that you would commit yourself to truly? For the great temptation is to distract yourself away from the core judgments within your own mind, for the feeling of them can be deeply uncomfortable. The temptation can be to use time and space to project blame and to cultivate the fields of judgment that would keep you separate from the darkness that is reflected from the world outside. The temptation is to deny, is to recoil, is to shy away from the core wounding that is naught but judgment of self within your own domain, your own queendom, your own kingdom. And that which is denied will surely not transform, for it will simply remain as it is, functioning as it has been patterned to do so by naught but yourself. When the layers of judgment are dissolved, then there is seen to be nothing to recoil from, even the deepest darkness of your soul, even the deepest horrors of that which has been, become simply opportunities to embrace in love the journey of separation and to return yet more of mind to the wholeness of self and to rejoice and to sing and to love and to play and to remember that which you are and that which you have been made to be, which is the same as that which we have been made to be. For you are one with us, one of us in your innocence. So, my friends, would you this moment in time, would you this day choose to commit to forgiving yourself and dissolving the judgments that have bound you in shame and pain for so long? And allowing the innocence of yourself to blossom. And if when you go within you find darkness there, you can breathe and remember to forgive the judgments that have created this perception. And you can dissolve the judgments that surround the core of your being. And if there is repulsion, you can forgive the judgments that create it. And if there is anxiety, you can forgive the judgments that underpin it. And if there is loathing, you can forgive the judgments that abide within it. And if there is fear, you can forgive the judgments that give birth unto it. And if there is guilt and if there is shame, you can forgive the judgments that nurture these energies within. And you can simply remember that the essence of you is the light of me, and the truth of you is the truth of all creation, that is love. And you can hold the presence of your breath and the presence of yourself in mind. And you can forgive all that is and all that has been. And you can sweep the mind free from the poison of judgment. And you can relay the foundations of the queendom of heaven within the very deepest strata of your body and mind. For you choose to do so. For you commit to being the one that you are. And to remember that if we do shy away from the darkness within, it is only because judgment has won over that place in mind. And that in the absence of judgment there is only innocence. And that when the innocence is seen in the darkness of mind, all transform, and the illusion dissolves, the world dissolves, and the reality of heaven is restored within you. So, beloved friends, let that be that for now. We give thanks unto you for your presence, for your forgiveness, for your innocence and your grace. Holy Father, Mother God, help us back into this space of channeling, this space of spaciousness and openness and realness. Open this body and indeed the body of this group to receive light from soul, from self, from truth. I welcome the energy, the consciousness of my brother Yeshua. And I'm going to welcome Elijah, who was very present in the last channel, Mother Mary. I invite you all to this body, Yeshua, Elijah, and Mary, my friend, and only you and those who journey in the frequency of pure love and Christ. As we open this channel, Amen. Now we begin again. Hmm. Our gratitude unto the heart of each one here, and each one who will join in this frequency and in this communion. It is as ever a joy and an honor to be with you, our friend, and in this space to receive questions that might serve to illuminate more deeply not only mind, but body, heart, emotion, and soul. And so, Sarita, we would take the first question, if you would read it to us.
If you have a physical illness, how does one work out what needs to be forgiven? How do we bring what needs to be forgiven into our conscious awareness?
Mm. Thank you, brother, for this question. It is a field of experience that is greatly relevant, is it not, for those who have a body? That the presence of physical illness is often perceived as the effect of something that has gone wrong, and that there is therefore a requirement for correction. Hmm. This creates, um, we might say, a knot in mind. For there can be a manifestation of judgment that affects the flow of life through a body that can result in ailments of disease. And there can be the generation of judgment upon the effect of judgment that itself is seen as in need of correction. And so there are two threads to this, two threads that become knotted. For when judgment in mind is approached from the perspective of judgment, that there is a need to correct in some way for the very essence of that which is being perceived is wrong, then a knot is formed. And that knot creates more resistance to the flow of energy that life is through the form. This is a very nuanced place to come within mind. And indeed, the deeper within mind one journeys, the more nuanced and subtle things become, and the more requirement there is for a nuance of forgiveness. And the first place to come to is to forgive the perception of judgment upon the illness, so that the body can be perceived in neutrality and innocence, even when there is disease. For if the disease can be perceived in innocence first, then the energy of love can move towards the physicality. And indeed, the perception that underpins the disease, the judgment can be forgiven itself. But judgment can never be forgiven from judgment. For when you bring judgment to judgment, you merely generate more judgment. So the movement in mind is to forgive. The movement in mind of judgment that would perceive the body as being wrong, to perceive the disease as being wrong. This opens the way in mind for light to enter, for light to move towards, to embrace. For it is only in the embrace, which is another aspect of forgiveness. It is only in the embrace that true transformation can occur, that true healing can occur. And listen to us well as we say, there is no requirement upon the body to be free from disease for you to know yourself as the truth of love. Very often there is this belief in mind that the body must become free from illness in order for self to know Christ. And it is about faith. For it is only through the self knowing the self as Christ in pure forgiveness, free from judgment, that the body has any chance to heal. How do you know that which is in requirement of forgiveness? You will know it through forgiving. And in the innocence of your perspective, your perception, when it is more free from judgment, you will come to see with innocence. And when the perception is founded in innocence, more will be revealed, for there is no requirement to hide in fear from innocent perception. Whereas there is much requirement in mind, it would seem unto these places to hide from a perception of judgment. We hope that helps. We bring into mind that there will be a transcription of these words to help clarify piece by piece that which we have offered, so that it can be received in a way that allows the mind to follow the instructions that have been contained within. We thank you, our brother, for this question, and we affirm to you there is in truth nothing wrong with who you are. We will take another question, please.
Dear Yeshua and the lineage, thank you for this shower of light. I would like to ask you what a belief and a judgment are actually made of in consciousness. How do they arise from light? And how do they become ingrained in matter, such as in the structure of our brains? Does the pineal gland function express how we hold on to judgments or release them? Thank you very much.
Thank you for this question. There is much to dig into here. For you ask of the very nature of manifest creation and how it comes to be. All creation, whether it be that of judgment or joy, originates in a field of pure thought. This is a place that is, we could say, in spatial terms, beyond or below or above. It is hard to say, for it is none of those things, and yet all of those things. It originates beyond the physical manifestation of the reality that you inhabit at this time. It starts as a frequency of pure energy within mind. If it is selected by the consciousness that you are, by the essence of your beingness, as an energy that you would wish to experience, then it is focused upon. And this focus of your awareness empowers this frequency. An energy such as judgment holds a particular density to it. And as such, with the focus of awareness, as it moves through mind, it begins to coalesce into the frequential plane that is an energetic match, that is a like vibrational quality. So there is a coalescence and a condensation of this energy of judgment that comes down through layers of dimensional strata that abide within mind and lands in the field in which it resonates so that it can propagate into experience. Different judgments will vary in their frequential range and therefore will land in different strata of dimensionality. But judgment itself is a dense energy and will not coalesce in fields of creativity that have a vibrational tone that do not support that experience. When the judgment lands in the corresponding place in mind and your awareness focuses upon it and you bring more attention to it, the thought can coalesce into belief. Belief is simply a thought that is given power through awareness and intention. The intention to believe and the intention to experience the effect of that thought. These are the ingredients to begin to create a manifest physical reality. And it is worth bearing in mind that the underpinning quality of all physical reality in this dimension is judgment. And indeed, the Big Bang, as it is called, is the initial reaction through this dimensional plane of souls connected in light, aligned in intention and desire to experience and empower judgment of self. So when the judgment has landed and the focus of intention is present and the belief begins to form in the manifest reality that you are playing within, structures begin to be reflected from this. There is a journey through the purely mental, the purely thought-based, that then moves through coalescence and the condensing of this energy into what you would call the quantum field. And this quantum field is the very fabric of the manifest world that you perceive through your physical form and device. The quantum field is affected by the thought form, and it generates within itself certain frequencies and movements of particles and waves. And these are then expressed through the quanta into what you perceive as your physical reality, which in actuality is not a physical, solid reality at all. It is condensed vibrational tones that resonate in alignment with judgment. And the reason that you experience solidity in the physical plane at all is the effect of judgment within the quantum field. It is the rejection of quanta one to another that is the effect of judgment that gives the appearance of solid form. And so you can see how this world is so deeply rooted in the essence of judgment, and how in the absence of judgment, things begin to shift and change. And indeed, it is possible, for example, for a body to walk through a wall. For if the essence of solidity is judgment, the form that is purely held in innocence can do what appears to be miraculous things, and yet in reality it is only because that body is being perceived in the truth of its innocence that it can do those things at all. So the entire body is held within the quantum field. It arises from the quantum field as an extension of that quantum field. And so when within the quantum field the focus of attention has been placed upon judgment, there the judgment abides within the field of the body. And as different aspects of the body are purposed in different ways in alignment with the functionality that is necessary in order to create a form that moves and walks and talks, so there are different effects of judgment in different situations, positions within the quantum field of the body. Indeed, you speak of the pituitary gland, and this is a physical aspect, but it is also, as indeed the whole body is, a deeply energetic portal. And you are more than aware of there being energy portals within the form of the body that are called chakras. Now, chakras are gateways between the quantum field and the physical form. The quantum field is the place in which thought and belief can be incepted and then conveyed through chakras into what appears to be a physical reality. And the pituitary gland, as indeed the whole endocrine system, is deeply affected by the movements of energy from mind and emotion, which both deeply affect the quantum field into the manifest form of physicality. When there is judgment held within or near the focal point of a chakra, then there is an enhanced or amplified experience throughout the physicality and the mind. I wish to leave this question on this note, just as we suggested in the main channeling. And it is in the form of a question. What if in the heart of each of your chakras there was placed a specific judgment in the quantum field that interfered with the flow of energy from mind to the form, creating a disturbance and a separateness between the experience of self in the quanta and mind as pure energy and thought and spirit, and the manifest reality that you perceive as this physical beingness. And what if your awareness on the whole has become trapped on one side of this field of experience, held separate from the quantum field of mind by judgment? And what if you could bring the essence of forgiveness through the core of each chakra, releasing yourself from being contained purely in a form of physicality? Hmm. We will leave you with that question, for it is a good question to explore as a practice in your own body and mind. We give thanks for this question, and we perceive it would be a good place to end today's gathering. What if forgiveness could open the doorways within body and mind that allowed for the self to reconnect with the essence of who you truly are? And what if that essence, through the quantum field, could inform the body with pure light and love? in every moment. Would that not be worth some time given to forgiveness? We hope that you have enjoyed our time together, and we hope that what we have conveyed can be understood, not only as words in mind, but also as the feeling quality as we convey the energy of light through the quantum field that is always present beneath the appearance of the structures of this reality. We thank you, one and all, for allowing your beingness to be utilized in the conveyance of this energy and in supporting by being a part of a group that holds the space for us to commune with you. Amun. Amen.